Nick some noise. It's your man, Why Me. Welcome back to another episode 2 of the 2024-2025 season. Look, we here to talk about the games. We here to talk about the squad. We here to talk about the team. You know, let us know how we doing. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, do all that stuff you got to do. All right, bet. So our last 3 games is where we left off. After the Detroit game, I came to you and said, look, we need to win out November in a fashion. We had 16 games in November, including a couple games in the in-season tournament. So we needed to go 12-4 with our 16 games in November. So far, we're 2-2, beating the Detroit Pistons and beating the Milwaukee Bucks, losing to Houston and losing to Atlanta. So I'm going to go over the Houston game first. Initially, we started off slow. Fred VanVleet got into a rhythm. Jalen Green and Michael Porter, they also got in the rhythms, and Sengun took them home. Alperen Sengun took them home, posted us up. That's what I was trying to avoid as far as, getting posted up, getting beat on the low blocks. Houston and Atlanta, respectively, scored over 55 points in the paint versus our team in those 2 games. So we got beat down in the paint. We got beat down on the box. Pause. We got just annihilated. So at the end of the day, what we're looking at was an uphill battle for both teams. They jumped out on us physically. They jumped out on us point-wise. Houston, obviously, Fred VanVleet got them started. And in Atlanta, the rookie, Ricochet, got them started. So my thing was, where is our half-court defense, our defense on the wing? So that's what we need, our wing stop guys. And obviously, Jalen still has to play D, even though he's our primary ball handler, facilitator, and not recently our scorer. Karl-Anthony Towns has been our scorer, but Brunson is our master chief, as you want to say, for all my Halo cats out there. So at the end of the day, we're looking at an uphill battle. We're looking at coming from behind for those last 2 games instead of this Milwaukee game. We're looking at playing from behind. Versus Milwaukee, we were able to come out. Milwaukee is a downtrodden team right now. I'm not sure what's going on. Are they tanking? What's going on? Are they not playing for Doc? Giannis is there. Dame's there. So whatever Milwaukee is going through right now is a little sad. It's probably sad for the game. I mean, they recently won a championship, and that's our goal. So maybe they're rebuilding. Maybe Giannis is 1 foot out the door. Dame's, at the tail end of his career, Bobby Portis and maybe some other guys that are there like Robin. So listen, we're having to worry about our own thing, right? That's not our problem. Our problem right now is just making sure we come out with the intensity and the aggressiveness that's needed. Replacing Julius Randle, that's a lot of aggression. Dante DiVincenzo plays basketball with the level of aggression in terms of not angle-wise, but just going to the basket. Physical assertion, hitting the defensive player in the chest first, basically becoming the first player to make contact. Usually defensive players make contact first with the offensive player to knock them off balance at certain, points or levels of the game, levels of the court. But Julius was one of those guys that would hit you first, just like Melo. So you see the comparison. As far as Anthony Towns, he's a shooter. So he's not prone to hit you in your chest first. He's prone to shoot on you first, which, if you're weighing it, a guy hitting shots on you is demoralizing too. It's almost as demoralizing as getting hit in your chest and getting knocked back. You know what I mean? So if Anthony Towns is hitting those threes like he was in the Garden last night, if he's hitting those threes to start the game off, we're a good-looking team. And that's really what we needed to do versus Houston. That's what we needed to do versus Atlanta. Was it the road element maybe? That's what it could have been. Houston and Atlanta, respectively, are probably the top cities in the United States when it comes to fun. So, albeit we were looking kind of shaky in those cities. But, coming back to the Garden, bringing it back, we handled business like we were supposed to. We took care of the Milwaukee Bucks, 116-94. What's going on with the Bucks? I really don't care. But I didn't want to be in that discussion with Milwaukee like, look, you made all of these moves, New York. Why is it not working for you? So with that being said, looking forward, we have the Indiana Pacers Sunday to November the 10th at 5. And what we're looking at versus the Pacers is the same type of situation. I think we got Towns to kind of model after what Indiana's doing, a model after what Boston was doing. Those were the Eastern Conference finalists last season. So we're trying to model those teams. Do we have the pieces? Absolutely. I feel like we're second in that ranking when it comes to the model of team that we have. Boston obviously being first, being the champs, the Knicks being second. We could have went to the Eastern Conference Finals had we not been injured. So I think that's the issue right there. We would have definitely handled the Pacers last year without losing OG Anunoby. But at the end of the day, we can't cry over that. We can't talk about that. The team that we have now is virtually a brand new team with the addition of Mikal Bridges, with the addition of Karl Anthony Towns and the rookies that we have that are playing very well right now. We're a different team. So Jalen Brunson is having to change his game a significant amount. He's having to facilitate. You got your guys here. Kale is a scorer. Anthony Towns is a scorer. They're both shooters. Kale is a better defender. But you have Mikal, you have Josh, you have OG Anunoby handling defense, who are also capable offensive players. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who's not necessarily a slouch on defense, but he can get used in the post because he's not that player that can move you off of your square. He doesn't have that base. So, he can get used in the post if teams are heavy post matchups. That's where we lost. Atlanta's not a post team, but they score in the paint very well because Trae Young has an offensive set that allows his players to get alley-oops. So points in the paint was pretty much virtually equal. We got used in the post versus Houston, and we got abused on the alley-oop and offensive rebounding versus Atlanta. So points in the paint was our Achilles heel in those last two games. As far as Milwaukee, we were able to come out. We were able to hit our threes. We were able to, spread them out just like we play a spread out. We were able to get them, away from the basket. Did I say Robin earlier? I meant Brook. Brook is a player that likes to play far away from the basket, just like Karl Anthony Towns is. So look, man, at the end of the day, we handle business. 2-2 so far in our November campaign. We still on pace for the 12-4. We just got to use this formula to continue to win games. This is the formula. To be honest with you, Jalen has to facilitate. Jalen has to facilitate for the majority of the game. I believe that getting Mikal Bridges points out the way, OG Anunoby is a little bit more of a one-on-one. He's becoming more of a one-on-one player right now. He's developing some type of a bag, to be honest with you. So he doesn't necessarily need the facilitation. Mikal, I would like for him to get the passes on the low block, let him post up, let him get to the line, let him slow the game down in that regard to get his points. Then, if we can get those open shots from Karl Anthony Towns, because at the end of the day, he's 6'11". He's got the KD length, pause. He could shoot over just about any defender. I'm not saying he plays like KD, but I'm just talking about in terms of arm length. He can shoot over anybody. So why not let him take those shots that he knows that he can make from the top of the key? I wouldn't want for him in the beginning of the game to occupy the top of the key and to occupy that space if he's not going to have a good shot or take a good shot from there. You just occupying space where Brunson can use to develop action for somebody else who's willing to get into that pick and roll situation. So if you're coming down, you occupying the top of the key, I think we should immediately, within the first 8 seconds to 12 seconds of the shot clock, be getting into the offense. I don't think we should be passing the ball back and forth to figure out who's going to do what. Whoever has the ball, we should be getting into some type of pick and roll set, pick and pop set with Anthony Towns, with Anunoby, we got Mikal Bridges, 3 players that can shoot the mid-range. Like, come on, what's going on? And with Jalen Brunson. I feel like Anthony Towns could bring the ball up, get into a pick and roll with Brunson. It depends on who the matchups are who's guarding who. Obviously, we can't do that with great defenders, but with average defenders, rookie defenders, young players, players that don't have the level of physicality to mix up in that type of set, those are the players that we need to expose. So look, I wanted to keep this short because the video that I had before, that joint was an hour. Like having to upload that and do all that by yourself, like you just got to keep it short. And hopefully my message was able to get across. But what we're looking to do against Indiana is obviously play this same game. This template style of offense is fine. The matchup is what it is versus Indiana. Tyrese versus Jalen. They have their defenders. We have our defenders. They got their big man shooter. We have our big man shooter. They actually have two big man shooters. So Pascal and Evan Turner. That could present a little bit of an issue because Sims is not the shooter. So I think that will be the game plan for the Indiana Pacers. They're either going to have to get Pascal or they're either going to have to get, I said Evan Turner, Miles Turner. Look, I'm going straight through. I'm not making no edits and no changes and nothing like that. Miles Turner, but I am catching myself. So Miles Turner, Pascal, they're going to try to get them off. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be on his own. So OG is going to have to guard Siakam. Anthony Towns and Miles Turner is going to be matched up. So if OG could find a way to neutralize Siakam and attack him on defense, I think we have a chance to win that game, minus any heroics or us, having a bad shooting night. So the matchup is simple. I mean, we're a favorite, as according to ESPN, by about 5 points, 52% to 47%. We're favored. So, let's just handle business. I don't think that what we should do is move the formula around. We don't need to make any changes right now. This style of basketball is what we need to do. We're in Indiana. So again, we need to get off to a good start. We're in Indiana. They're now considered our rivals. We can't come out and allow them to establish their style of play. If they come out, they hit a couple threes, they start trying to get a little swag, we need to shut that down. We need to call timeout. We need to shut that down. We can't let them come out and get into their stuff before we get into our stuff. And if they do, we need to stop the bleeding. We need to stop the momentum. And then from there, play our game. Start with the defense and with the offense. Inside out is what I love to see. I love to see Karl Anthony Towns on a low block, facilitating, kicking it out, passes over his head like the one he did to OG. I love to see that. Inside out basketball, and that was what was in my last hour-long video, but I didn't post it. But inside out basketball is winning basketball, if you ask me. Being able to play on the block, being able to kick it out to the three, drawing in defenders, being able to drive, kick, that to me is winning basketball. You're getting players open shots in rhythm. You never really got to worry about getting your feet work, getting your feet established because you're in rhythm. You're basically walking into your shot from the kick. So I like to see that. I like to see Anthony Towns back to the basket, facilitating, making the wizard passes like that. I love to see that because he's our only big man. And, I want to ramp up Hot Porty. And for some stretch, I want to see Mitch develop a little bit of offense whenever he comes back. I was even happy to see Jericho Sims get a dunk. I was even happy to see that. So we got a nice combination off the bench as far as in the backcourt with Kolek and Deuce. Kolek is a baller. Deuce is becoming an outstanding bench player. Could be a 6th man in the year candidate. Peyton Pritchard might have something to say about that. But at the end of the day, we looking pretty good. This is November. It is the start of the season. We are a new team. Players are, still finding what their roles are. Jalen Brunson is having to change his game. Karl Anthony Towns is having to be more assertive, at the beginning. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart are though we like to have 3 glue guys is amazing. We got 3 glue guys. We got 3 guys that can hang their hat on defense. That's amazing to have. So with that rhythm, I like it. Jalen, fewer shots, fewer point total, same level of assist, which means that most of those shots that he would have taken would have been bad shots. They would have been forced shots. They would have been shots where he's just pressing, forcing the issue, and you didn't have to. Obviously, we came out hot. We got off to a hot start. We were winning. Milwaukee is, they are what they are. But at the end of the day, I'm about to wrap it up. Like I said, I wanted to keep this video short, to the point. Indiana, November 10th, 5 p.m. Be there. So what we're looking at as far as Indiana keys to the game, like I said, the matchup is what it is. We're favored to win the game versus Indiana. So I just want to be able to have Anthony Towns, again, assert himself on the offensive end, see some shots go down, maybe let him get to the line first, versus him creating a foul scenario where because Pascal, he likes to foul hunt. Miles Turner is a shooter. He doesn't necessarily foul hunt. I think he's a, pretty tougher level player, although he's a shooter. Pascal, he likes to foul hunt. So I think what they would do first is to feature Pascal against Anthony Towns and to get him matched up so they can get Carl reaching. And if he gets to the point where he accumulates one foul, the next foul is going to be very easy for him to pick up. I don't know who the officiating crew is tomorrow, but the next foul is going to be very easy for him to pick up once he gets that first one, early in the game. So let's avoid that. We're looking for, again, another game from him. We need lockdown games from Mikal Bridges. As far as if he's on Tyrese, lock him down. OG on defense, Pascal. And I think the chips will fall. Obviously, every game I feel like we're gonna win. Every game. So I wouldn't be shy about this game to say. But if we look at, let's look at the injury report. We don't have Precious, Campaign, Kevin McCullough, and Mitch. TJ McConnell is a game time decision. Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Naismith, Isaiah Jackson, and James Wiseman. They're all, Aaron Naismith, Nembhard, and TJ are game time decisions, which means that they probably won't play. So Isaiah Jackson, he killed us last playoffs. He's out, and so is Wiseman. So, yeah, we going to handle business. We're going to beat them on the road, get back to our winning ways, 2-game winning streak. I'm going to give you a final score of 124 to 113 New York. All right, final score 124-113 in Indiana versus the Pacers, 5 p.m. Indiana, I think that's Central Time, so 4 in Indiana. Let's see what we got. Jalen, get back to it. 9 dimes versus Milwaukee. I love it. Carl, you get that pass, let it go. OG, Mikal, and Josh, I love Josh. Even in these losing games, Josh been forcing the issue. Josh has been getting to the basket. Josh has been playing Josh Hart basketball. Josh Hart, to me, has always been the MVP of this team. So that's my personal opinion. Josh Hart, to me, has always been the MVP of this team, although, our best and most capable scorer has been JB. Yeah, let's see, man. Anthony Towns is averaging 24, 52% from the field, 90 from the line. So, we got something, man. We got a formula. Obviously, I never really did a video about Julius Dante going, but, finding success in Minnesota shouldn't be hard. Ant-Man is out there. They love how they going. So we'll talk about that at some point throughout the season. But let's get it, man. 5 o'clock tomorrow, November 10th. Knicks some noise. This is your man, Why Me. Check out my hat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Knicks Nation. Shout out to the squad over there, Knicks Fan TV. I got all the signatures at our Game 7 watch party versus Indiana last season, our final game of the season. But I got a lot of members of the squad to sign my joint for me. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Knicks Nation forever. Salute to the squad over there. Y'all know what it is. It's your man, why me? Make some noise, man. Y'all know what it is. We out.